Welcome to episode 15 of VGXL. I'm your host, Daniel, aka Games. And with me again today, we have Adocat and El Torrente, aka Dakota and Jose. If you're not already, what's going on? If you're not already following us, you can follow us on Twitter at VGXL Podcast. And there we're going to start asking questions and asking more questions and sharing more game news. So follow us there if you want to keep up. Definitely going to try to get some more interaction from everybody there. So definitely give us a follow on there. You can also follow me at Videogamesxlife if you want to scream at me directly, or just watch my beautiful face stream different games on the Twitch channel of the same name, as well as check out the Instagram. Yes, what's going on, guys? Episode 15. You ready?
What up?
We're ready. Let's go. There's a lot to talk about.
Yeah, it's a lot of news. There's a lot of stuff to cover today. Pretty excited. To see what's going on with some game releases, some game delays, game-breaking bugs, a lot of bullshit. Then later on, we're going to be discussing video game controllers for the topic. But yeah, anything you guys want to say or share today?
Nope.
Just just a good day to not do anything.
I hear that.
I'm dreading the fact that I gotta go to work later when all I want to do is stay home and play the Resident Evil demo.
Did you finally get through it?
Oh, no. I have not gotten through it.
No.
Yeah, they're doing the same shit they did with that dummy finger in Resident Evil 7.
Yeah, that shit was just a freaking mistake, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's totally a secret.
Yeah, that shit was a Capcom fuck up that they just left in the game by accident, and then when people were like trying to figure it out, it became a big deal online. Like, holy shit, that dummy finger! I joined the Discord just for that. Like, that was my first introduction to Discord when that demo came out.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, because people were just in there theorizing, like, "Hey, man, the guys in the other channel, they came across something." And people were like, "Yeah, there's a secret compartment in the kitchen. You can hear him walking around in the walls, and just a bunch of bullshit, bro." And I'm like, "Damn!" They updated the demo, and I remember the demo being like, they updated it finally, like maybe 2 months later, and it had a bunch of extra shit. You still couldn't do anything with the dummy finger. It was fucking stupid.
Yeah, it's not on PC. It's a PS5 exclusive for now. Yeah. And then and like if they're doing the same, which I think they're gonna do, they're probably gonna update the demo to add more stuff to it. That's probably when every other console is gonna get it. Gonna get it.
That's fair enough.
But yeah, for me, I mean, today's the 28th that we're recording, and what's it called came out. The Medium came out. So,
right.
Yeah, I wanted to start it last night. I was playing some Demon Souls last night. Finally got this super win. So I was excited about that. And then it was getting close to midnight, so I decided to try it. And then freaking Xbox is like, I don't want to hate them. I'm not a fanboy by any means, but it's so lame that their games don't launch at midnight. That's bullshit. Yeah. Your first big exclusive, and it's like I never realized their game. I don't really play Xbox all that much, but I was like, you know what? I want to be on. Oh, actually, I tried to do it on Game Pass, and it didn't work through the PC since I was already streaming. So I was like, you know what? Maybe the Xbox will work. Yeah. So I connected that up. Everything. Nope. It was like it started hitting. I was like, okay, maybe it's 12 on the dot. Let's give it a few minutes. Nothing. And then I think it doesn't unlock till 11 o'clock the next day. I'm like, wow. I know for a fact PlayStation, like you buy something on PlayStation, for a fact it unlocks at midnight local time or whatever, but it definitely unlocks earlier than on the day of.
I would say maybe at most like midnight Western time, California time maybe.
I don't know, like maybe 3 a.m. That's possible. Maybe 3. It's 3 a.m. I even tried changing the time on the Xbox. I put it on Australian time and everything.
Oh shit!
Didn't work. Yeah, no.
You try to hack.
Desperate, huh?
I know, it was just tight. I changed that. I was like, yo, come on, I wanted to see the game, but I did play a little bit earlier, and so far people are complaining about all the fanboys, especially. I can't stand Sony fanboys. I'm sorry, I can't stand fanboys on any side, but they're all like talking shit now because apparently the game runs at when it does the split screen for the two worlds, it down reses to 900p. So everyone's like, oh, I thought it was the most powerful. So I'm like, powerful system. I'm like, yeah, but it's not. I mean, split screen, and it really is two whole different worlds with different things on it. I'm like, you play Call of Duty or any of those that do split screen, it down reses. It's not like a 4K image.
Yeah.
you know. So it looked great. I played that shit on my OLED on the 4K screen, and I was like, this looks amazing. Like, I don't give a shit. You could kind of tell like that it's not like a perfect image, but it's I don't know. It's it's a fun atmosphere. It's a nice atmosphere. Love the way the graphics look. So fuck what the fanboys are saying. It's still a dope looking game.
Yeah, I'll be touching that this weekend for sure.
Yeah, and I was remember we noticed that said 30 frames per second for every, like, last week when we recorded. It showed when it showed the specs for the game, it shows 30 frames for every spec layout. That's by design. That's not they wanted it to be a cinematic game, so that's why it's 30 frames there.
I got you. Okay. I'll accept that.
Yeah, so it looks, I'm telling you, it looks like the lighting effects, like the ray tracing. That's where, and I'm happy with that. Like, give me that ray tracing. It looks nice.
Did you play Control with your 3080 yet?
No, I haven't tried it yet.
I was gonna ask what the comparison between the two would be, but all right.
I gotta check it out because I do have regular Control. Oh, you mean like play it compared to what?
Well, just like the ray tracing. Like, did they implement it better in the medium than they did in Control?
Oh, I see. No, I gotta check it out. It's light. I feel like it was better in Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk is that game is trying really hard. But I gotta check out Control. And then now the Ultimate Edition's coming out on PS5 for free, so that's gonna be cool. But anyway, let's save that for the news right now. News of the week. But just really quick, like I was saying, Control is free on Game Pass already. But there was this whole controversy that the upgrade wasn't going to be free for PlayStation, and which I guess technically it's not, but it's coming out on PS Plus. So if you have PS Plus, there you go. You got the Ultimate Edition with all the bells and whistles. So
nice.
Nice.
Yeah. Do you still have PS Plus? I don't care.
Yeah.
Okay, I was gonna say because I'm like, even though you don't have a PS5, well, yeah, even if you don't have a PS5, you can still redeem those games on the website. One of my boys hit me up. He was like, "Yo, can I sign into yours?" I was like, "Just do it to the website." So if you want to hold it for later, just to have a free game, next month, I guess next week or the week after next, it should be available.
Okay.
But
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, but with that being said, first on the docket for me is Resident Evil 8 is finally getting a release date. So as Jose was already mentioning, the demo's out. We had a little event last week, and that's where they released a demo showing just no real action, just just walking around, but it shows off the lighting and the graphics. It looks really nice. I gotta say, it looks really nice, and you get to see that nice big woman.
I was gonna say, are you also in love with Big Mama?
Yo, not for nothing. It's funny because I don't know if you ever heard of Markiplier. You might know who that is, Jose, right? You know who Markiplier is?
I've heard that name, yeah.
He's like a big YouTuber, does a lot of Let's Plays, and he's like this he exaggerates stuff, but he shows he's like, oh my God, so beautiful. And then at one point he's like, and don't think this is about sex. It's not about sex. And literally right before he said that, I was explaining to Pfeffer, I was like, you know what it is? Why everybody loves that woman? Because it's like men just love voluptuous women. Like she's stacked. On top of being huge, she's stacked. Face isn't too bad. Big boobs, but then it's like, I don't know. It's about that having a big woman protect the man. There's a sex appeal about that. You know what I mean? Having this nice voluptuous woman manhandle you. And then he's like, it's not about sex, it's about power, okay? I was like, exactly. When he said that in the video, that shit had me rolling.
Hilarious.
It's about power. And I was like, it's kind of true. It's like, it's not like she's like the sexiest thing. It's just about, like I said, she's just this huge voluptuous woman that no guy wouldn't mind her picking your ass up and squeezing you. But you get to see a little bit of her in the playable teaser. I feel like if it was, Resident Evil wouldn't be where it is right now if it wasn't for PT. I think we can agree on that. PT, like, they took that same idea and ran with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, not to like sidetrack you, but I think one of the other voice actresses from this Resident Evil just passed away or something.
Yeah, that's right. That was the news story I wanted to. I forgot about
crazy.
that. Yeah, that's pretty sad.
I had that on my list. Definitely.
Did you? I looked. I didn't see.
I'll remove that.
Oh, it's there.
Where
Yeah,
is?
no, it's cool. It's
Oh,
cool.
it's
And
Oh
then,
yeah,
oh.
Jeanette. Yeah.
nah,
Hey, man,
it
my
makes
bad, my
perfect sense.
bad,
No, no,
my
no.
bad.
Don't
I
worry
swear, I
about
looked at the list. I was like, cool, no one has it. Perfect.
Here at VGXL, we're super organized and know
Yeah,
what we're
it's
doing.
way at the bottom. There's a whole extra page. I didn't see
Yeah,
it.
don't worry about it. That's cool. It was a perfect time to bring it up. It would have it would have made no sense now for me to come back and do that.
Yeah.
Like, oh well, you guys were talking earlier.
Remember 2019?
That reminds me.
My bad.
Yeah, I heard about that. She was battling cancer and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
it's always sad to hear that. That happened really quick. That happened to a voice actress in Final Fantasy. That it was a well-known 14, that is. She was a well-known character and she got murdered. Like like shortly after her portrayal of an important character that would have returned. Her husband or ex-husband like murdered her and her like 2 children. It was like
Holy shit.
crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, it was like back in like 2014 or 15, like right after the game was released. She was like a British actress too. Like she was gaining, traction in her career, and it was a real unfortunate thing that happened. I forget the name, but if you look up like Final Fantasy 14 actress murdered or whatever, you'll see it was one of those weird, screwed up things. But
that sucks.
But speaking of more Resident Evil, and it's funny because we were just talking about this on the last episode about how Resident Evil 4 remake was probably coming out, since there was rumors about it, and literally right after we recorded, and after we said how stupid that seemed to be, there was like it looked like M2 was the team in Capcom that was going to work on the game, and they wanted they were keeping real close to the source, and I guess the executives over at Capcom didn't like that they were sticking too much. Seems like they want to do more of a Resident Evil 2 approach, where it's more of a reimagining type of deal instead of a one-to-one remake.
Yeah.
So I mean, I guess I don't know. I would have just appreciated that. It's a great game. Maybe fix some of the controls if that's what got needed. But they really don't even need to remake this. But that's getting pushed all the way back to 2023. So it looks like they're probably starting over if that's the case.
That sounds like an eternal struggle.
Exactly.
That sounds like, listen, dude, we don't know where the fuck you guys are trying to take this remake. We need to bring this back this direction. Like there was something like that. That's a long pushback.
Yeah, because I'm like 2 years. Damn, that means that they're gonna have to. They're probably gonna rearrange all those assets and redo a lot of that shit. So it sucks because we probably weren't gonna get this till next year either way, because we're getting Resident Evil 8 this year. But still, that sucks. And it's like either way, I don't even want a Resident Evil 4 remake. We need Code Veronica. And if you go to any Twitter thread or any section about Resident Evil 4 remake, everyone says, "Give me Code Veronica." Nobody wants this shit yet. Like, there's like 8 different HD re-releases of Resident Evil 4. It came out like literally every console since the GameCube. So it came out GameCube, then it came out on PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, Wii U. Did it come out Wii U? But I think Switch, PlayStation 4, like Xbox. Like it's come out like on everything, like multiple times. So it's like, why do we need a remake of 4 when you have a great looking version of it right now? But
it's Capcom's Skyrim, Just
exactly. It's true. It's like, so we don't need a remake of that shit. Like, do Code Veronica. That you could reimagine, because it was a kind of a weird story, with the kids and all that. So it's like they could have really done something with that and put Claire back, and you have the assets from Resident Evil 2 and 3, like, well, whatever. And another delay we're getting is Returnal. Just got delayed till April 30th, which I'm really disappointed by, because it's supposed to come out, I believe, in March, and it's not too far off. And hopefully that means it's going to be, it's just bug squashing and stuff like that. Hopefully it's a good game. Everything else they've made has been pretty good from that team. So let's see what happens. But that is the one PS5 exclusive that I was really looking forward to, because it looks really, really, really good, and that team knows how to make fun, like, arcade shooter types, even though it's their first 3D one, but still, like, they know how, what's fun. And so I trust that it's going to be, at minimum, it's going to be fun. It looks like a pretty game too. So hopefully we get that. We really do get it on the 30th. Yeah. But hopefully. Yeah, but that's all I got for today.
Nice. Staying on the Resident Evil, train here. This is just a fun bit of news, but like Capcom is trying to sell a Chris Redfield replica coat for about $1,500,
That's it.
which I thought was pretty fire. I think it's a discount, especially the way stocks are going nowadays.
Right.
I think it's a
I say
discount.
buy and hold.
Right.
Yeah, low price of $1,500. I thought that was awesome.
Shit.
Moving on from that, Cyberpunk got official mod support already, which I'm actually pretty excited about. So if they're not going to fix things, at least we know the community is around to start probably patching things a lot faster. And
That's
adding
awesome.
That's
cool
true.
stuff.
I saw
yeah.
that they removed a mod where you could have sex with Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like,
So,
come on.
Not
that's
all
the
mods
first
are
thing
sexy.
Project Red goes to fix.
Yeah.
Like, motherfuckers, fix the rest of the game.
Yeah, word. Yeah, exactly.
Right? It was
Leave
like,
that shit in.
Yeah.
At least
Just
that
really-
shit works.
on that note, really quick, I was reading the comments on that, and people, like, I get it. Their reasoning was it's a likeness of somebody, you know what I mean? Like, I guess, especially of an actor, and he didn't sign up for that, so they feel like that's not fair to be doing that. But then Kotaku put up the video of it, and everyone was actually getting upset about it. I was like, calm the fuck down. It's a bad video anyway. It's like, it's not like you seeing him looking crazy or getting banged in the ass or something. It's like you see his face here a little bit, and they're like, oh, why would you do that? I'm like, calm down, stop being so sensitive. It is a good reason, but who cares? This is funny. You don't get
shocked. Yeah, like it's not his real body. It's not his. You know what I mean? Like what? It's
yeah. People were really getting mad in the comments. I was like,
all right. We've gotten to that
anyway. Yeah.
Interesting.
Wow.
All right. Well, I don't want to offend anybody, so moving on.
Yeah.
It was just a cool. This was just a cool article I saw on PCGamesN.com, and they just kind of went over KOTOR, and the rumor is out that some studio has it in their hands and they're remaking it. And these guys kind of just went over, instead of doing the KOTOR kind of universe or rehashing it, you could kind of go into another era, which would be like the High Republic, when like the Jedis are in full force, they're still powerful, and it just kind of follows them as they tackle like smaller kind of conflicts and things like that. And I thought
That sounds
it'd be
awesome.
pretty interesting. Yeah, it'd be pretty cool, especially as like a open world RPG, have like Jedis everywhere. Like, I think it would be fire. So
Hell yeah.
we'll see what happens. I'm definitely excited to keep hearing news about that, but I thought that was a pretty cool story there.
Nice.
And then besides that, just of course, can we take a second here to put on our stonk hats and talk some numbers, talk some GME, fellas? That shit was insane. Rules are getting changed for this, for sure. People's lives were definitely changed for this. But I think Wall Street got a taste of their own medicine, and it's been fucking fire.
It's been hilarious.
Yeah. So do people need an explainer? People get what's happening at this point, right? Like,
I mean, if you want to break it down, I think you could break it down.
Break it down.
All right. So, and Robinhood might go down for this as well. So anyway, so what's happening is people have been short, big institutions have been shorting GameStop, saying that it's not going to do well. They think it's going to tank. It's going to absolutely collapse. And so they're banking on that so they make money, right? The Big Short, the movie. So that's what they're doing to GameStop. But one of these geniuses from Melvin Capital said, we're going to tell everybody what we're doing in order to accelerate this process, or basically make sure it happens, because that's what they do. They manipulate the market through media. Now, Wall Street Bets on Reddit said, you know what? We like GameStop. Fuck you guys. And they got enough support behind it that they just started buying it and holding it, meaning the price jumped up, meaning all these dudes started losing money. So it went so far that, they had to get bailed out by a parent company pretty much to the tune of like $2 or $3 billion to cover their losses.
Yep.
Right? But with that, they still didn't close out their positions, because who the hell wants to lose it? So they covered it so that they don't go under, but they still tried to, they figured these guys aren't going to keep holding. Like, they're not crazy, but they are fucking crazy because it's Reddit. And they keep holding. They've kept holding. And I think they're still holding. I haven't checked it. But basically, I think like 3 or 4 different hedge funds have had to come together to stop the madness. And Robinhood actually halted NTD Ameritrade and a few other brokerage apps halted trading on these stocks to stop what was happening from happening, because Robinhood's parent company, one of them is Citadel, who also owns Melvin Capital. So they're holding the strings to what fails and succeeds pretty much through just market manipulation. They decided, hey, you can't
Exactly.
trade right now, so you can't trade, and that's it. We're going
They
to allow
stopped them in.
our institutional traders to trade so they can tank this stock like it's supposed to be, and it's bullshit. If
Yep.
this is how you get money to get into every American's hands, this is how it would work, right? Lots of Americans, normal everyday people on Reddit, made a decent amount of money just now believing in game stock, doing what these guys on Wall Street do, making a bet and pushing it through. And they don't like it because they lost big time on it and they're fucking, So we'll see what
Exactly.
happens, but
They stopped the manipulation with manipulation.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And I'd say this Reddit thing was more organic than anything that Wall Street guys do. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Their dinners, their meetings, all that bullshit. It's all just telling each other what they're gonna do the next day with their numbers, with their stocks. So I love it. I think it's great.
Yep. I love to see it. And I mean, as of right before we
Buy
recorded,
Dogecoin.
huh?
Said buy Dogecoin.
Oh yeah, I
Oh
saw that too.
Yeah.
But as of this recording, like right before we went, now it got released that Robin, like you said, Robinhood and all them stopped. I use Webull stopped, and then now there's a class action lawsuit that just got filed against Robinhood for stopping it.
How can you
And
stop
because it's
that?
true, it's not
How can
fair.
you
It's
do
like
that?
they
This
got
is the
the
money.
taste of their own medicine, huh?
This is what you guys fucking do all day long. You make
Yep.
lies up, you create money out of nothing, you buy and sell. And Robinhood it's the other way. It's the other way. Steal from the rich, give to the poor. Not steal from the poor, give to the rich.
Exactly.
So, they got their signals a little crossed, and I think they're about to find out. But we'll see.
Yep, and then now White House is getting involved. Ocasio Cortez is gonna go on Twitch to talk about it because she's saying it's not right that they're stopping it. And stuff like that. Yep, this is unprecedented for sure, and it's definitely gonna have ramifications that like who
Yeah.
knows where this is gonna go at this point.
Well, it's going to force them to institute rules protecting people like they should have been doing from the get-go. Why were these ever allowed? Why are you allowed to short a stock 150%? Like why? This is what
Exactly.
happens when you fuck around. Sometimes you get burned, and you let everyday average Americans get burned. Why not these guys? Fuck them.
Exactly.
Sorry about it.
That's how the cookie
Anyways.
crumbles.
I'm done. I'll put my soapbox away.
All right. Well, this weekend entertainment news, just in the realm of fantasy and craziness, we finally got a trailer for Kong versus Godzilla.
Yeah, we
Night.
did.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or Godzilla versus Kong. I'm not sure which way they say it, but it looks awesome. It looks like it's gonna be a dope ass fucking monster battle. I love the
Yeah.
fact that they have King Kong on a boat, just like getting transported, and Godzilla just appears and starts wrecking shit. That looks pretty awesome. I mean, I like the tone of those Godzilla movies because they feel more like it just feels like it's about the monsters. There's no stupid ass like all the other human shit, like the people their corny ass lives and their story. Like I don't care about any of that.
Yeah.
Like I don't care about a Millie Bobby Brown running around a factory. Come on, like why is she in this fucking movie, dog?
I mean, they gotta have some humans to show, it's taking place on Earth. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, it worked in part one. You remember how part one is like the father had a connection because they worked at the factory and everything.
Yeah.
The whole thing with Millie Bobby Brown is like she's a young actress. She's so popular off of Stranger Things. They just kind of threw her in there, like, come on, let's go.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it works. It's just
Yeah.
kind of one of those things where I'm like, I don't want to. I know I got to deal with like 15, 20 minutes between action scenes to
Yeah.
like deal with that fake ass story. But no,
Yeah.
that looks really good.
Yeah, I like the
So
whole
looking
monster
forward to it.
universe they're creating.
Yeah. Like the
On
last
fire.
movie, I don't know if anybody did. You guys, any of you guys, not see that movie?
I saw it.
Oh, Skull Island or
Yeah,
the
I saw
last
it.
Godzilla?
No, I didn't see that. No.
Yeah, that last Godzilla movie has a fucking scene that is really, really dope.
Yeah. Oh,
That,
quick question.
no, that last Godzilla movie. I'm sorry, last Godzilla movie had a pretty dope scene at the end. That kind of led to the point where it's like, all right, they're really making him king of the monsters here.
Yeah.
I thought that was awesome. But
Yeah, hell yeah.
next movie should be good. In other news, PS5. All right, they just keep coming. Like there's stores that are getting stock and they have no warning that they're getting any, but they're just appearing randomly. So I mean, anybody who this seems like we've been saying it for months, but uh, I mean, we have been saying it for months. But anybody who is still in the market for a PS5, just keep checking, man. They're coming in randomly.
Yeah.
Like right now, there's no more of the the big announcements and like the whole big thing with Twitter like before, like wait lists. Now it's just kind of they're just popping up.
Yeah.
So you could probably snag one pretty smoothly if you just keep your eyes open. So
That's definitely good news. I'm happy to hear that.
yeah, they're getting a little more.
Yeah.
I don't know whatever happened with the did that company ever make another statement about the black PS5s?
I don't know. I didn't.
Not that I'm aware of. I haven't looked
They
into
just
it.
completely went off, right? Okay. But yeah, so that's pretty good news for anybody who's still in the market for one.
Nice.
This week in streaming news, we have Twitch is doing some weird shit again.
Of course.
Shocking.
Of course, right? Apparently, they're taking people. There's a streamer who is a 15-year-old aspiring Twitch streamer from the UK. Basically, he had started his Twitch channel a few months before he turned 13, and through Twitch TOS you have to be 13 years old in order to start a Twitch channel. He started this Twitch channel more than 2 years ago, just shy of 13 years old. Got about 90,000 followers. You know what I mean? Like he was definitely on going through the grind that it takes to become a streamer or whatever. He went to go sign up to be a partner, and the shit backfired because they reviewed his page and saw that he had started it before he became 13 years old. Now his channel is banned because they're like retroactively banning him, I guess. Like,
Yep.
the shit is fucking silly. It's like the same thing with with VODs being deleted because of music that you played fucking 8 years ago that you didn't know was a problem until now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, I don't understand why. Who is it that runs shit over there? Why is it that this is always blatantly stupid shit happening?
That's what I'm saying. It's funny because I tweeted that because I was like, "Yo, it's been a little bit quiet for Twitch." It's like somebody was like, "No, we haven't had a drama in like a week." I mean, let's fix that.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah,
I don't know. Like, that doesn't make sense. Like, what's the reason behind it? If he's of age now, were they giving streamers, if you were 13 or under, were they giving you special accounts or something that gave you extra streamers, or like, I don't.
Yeah, like it has nothing to do with the fact. It has nothing to do with the grind. Like it changed nothing for the result. Like the kid was able to get a lot of followers. He did the whole thing on his own. That's still a relatively small streamer. You know what I mean? For what the Twitch numbers are used to. You know what I mean? So it's not like he's this guy who's
the
like
term micro streamer. Thank you.
it's not like he's one of these streamers. He's not like a Dr. Disrespect or like a Ninja who's like knocking the fucking platform on its head for numbers and getting all this extra endorsements or money or like doing stuff that I could see them like aiming at him. Like this shit just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense. So I don't know, man. Like I'd like to say I hope Twitch fixes that, but they never do. They always leave shit just lingering. So it's just gonna be another one of those things, until Twitch goes under completely. It's fucking silly. It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
buy, hold, sell, buy, hold.
Yeah, it's a little ridiculous. And I mean, other than that, that's all I got right now. There's just a lot of there's a lot of stuff to talk about, but those are some interesting points this week that I found.
Nice.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully those PlayStations keep coming in. Apparently, I don't know if you saw it, AMD is saying that there's going to be shortages, over the next few months. So it may slow down again, unfortunately. But
silicon still?
Yeah. They're saying that there's going to be a chip shortage. There might be a chip shortage soon. So that kind of blows. But,
every day I'm happy I got the 3080 when I did.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't seem like it's getting better. So
exactly. But yeah, it looks like we can move on to the Topic of the day.
Nice.
So thinking about what topic to talk about, I saw somebody mention on Twitter about how, the Xbox makes the Xbox 360 controller. It's like one of the best controllers that they feel like, Microsoft ever came out with, and in general, as a gaming controller, which, I guess I kind of agree with that. I used the Xbox. I didn't care for the Xbox One controller at all. And
You mean the first Xbox or the Xbox One?
Huh?
You mean
The
the
Xbox
first
One. Xbox One.
Okay.
So I stuck with my 360 controller for a while until now the Series X. So they kind of got me thinking about just controllers over the ages. I mean, I've been, we've all been playing video games since the days of Atari and Nintendo. And so I want to talk a little bit about history of, controllers, what we like, what we dislike, and go from there. So
Nice.
So yeah, I mean, because there's been a lot, over the years. Anywhere from the simple 2-button Nintendo controller, or even the single button controller on the Atari. I mean, that was enough for a lot of games back then. And it's crazy to think about how we have like 14 individual buttons now on most of these controllers, and things like that. But
True.
But yeah.
Nice. Where do we begin? Where do we start? Cool. I'll go. So no, I'm kidding.
No, I mean, it's up to you. I was gonna say, well, what were you some of your favorite controllers growing up?
Oh, my favorite.
For me, I'm gonna go with the Super NES, man. I feel like I've been playing that controller, just an evolved version of that controller, for the last 25 years, which I love.
Yeah.
I have no problems with that. Because
no triggers.
It just had a left and right bumper.
That was it.
No triggers, just bumpers.
Sad.
Just the look of that controller alone. And then when you came across the fact that there was a Japanese version, the Super Famicom version, and you see the buttons are all different colors, and you're like, oh shit! Like, it was more aimed at children,
I got you.
I just love that controller because when the PlayStation came out, it was easy. It felt like the extended handles. It just felt like another version of that. L2, R2, L1, R1, like they added like stuff to it, but it's kind of like they kept evolving that scheme of the 4-button layout, whether it be X, Y, BA, or whatever the square, triangle, X, circle. That shit is always going to be around. I don't think we will see the end of gaming where that's not there. You know what I mean?
It's true. Like, Nintendo definitely paved the way.
Yeah.
The Google Stadia controller, doesn't it? It doesn't have the ABXY or whatever. Does it? Oh, that's it. So which one am I thinking? Doesn't one of them? Oh, is it the Steam controller that doesn't have it? Like, it's just a touchpad on both sides.
Yeah, the Steam controller.
And that controller failed like miserably, right?
Yeah, some people swear by it. If you look around Steam, like and they discuss it. Some people swear by it, yeah, but it didn't really pick up, too well.
Yeah. You know what's funny about that too? That controller is basically like an Xbox controller fused with a Turbo Touch 360. You remember those controllers?
Oh shit! Yeah.
The Turbo.
That it was just touch or whatever.
It had like little sensors underneath. It's just like that.
I would say, like, growing up, probably because I didn't have Super Nintendo. So growing up, to me, and when I finally did play it, not that I hated it, I just didn't care for the L and R. Like, I never liked that because arguably when it comes to fighting games, the 6-button controller from Sega Genesis is probably the best controller, because it was laid out like the arcade. You had 3, X, Y, Z on the top and A, B, C on the bottom, and it was a little bit smaller than the main the standard Sega Genesis controller. So I have to say that was probably my favorite. Like, I really enjoyed going from that, and then playing Super Nintendo was like, I just missed everything being on the face of it, and it kind of makes sense that nobody ever came up with that idea. I mean, Xbox did a little bit, which I know that's the controller you liked, right? AutoCAD.
Yeah, my favorite controller.
Yeah.
Is It's definitely the controller S version of the Xbox controller.
Yeah.
I just love
You
that
like the
thing.
Duke?
No, that's probably my least favorite controller that we'll get to. But yeah, my favorite is definitely the controller S. It was just perfect. It was sleek. The buttons felt nice. I even liked the white black button. I know
That's what I
everybody
was gonna.
hated their
Yeah, that's what I was
placement.
getting at.
Yeah, but I liked them. I thought, like you said, like it's just nice having extra buttons right there. You didn't have to go to the middle of the controller. You didn't have to go to a bumper. You know what I mean? You weren't reaching with your thumb or anything. It was right at the the knuckle of your thumb. Boop boop. And I just remember also probably helped that I played tons and tons of Halo with that controller.
Oh
So using
yeah.
his flashlight, you know what I mean? Like it was just it was perfect. Perfect.
Yeah, so exactly. Like that was a good design. I kind of liked it because you still had the 4 face buttons like Super Nintendo, created, and you had your L2 and R2 and R1 and the left bumper, right bumper, and all that. But then you had those extra 2 buttons, and just having that. So yeah, I agree. Like that was definitely one of Xbox's better controllers.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And even the shape now of like modern controllers, I feel like kind of stick to that aesthetic. You know what I mean? Like they try to mimic it. I feel like, like the Elite 2 controller I have now, and I love it because it's pretty similar to the S controller. So
right, yeah. So it's like, but yeah, when it comes to Nintendo, you're right though. With the Super Nintendo controller, like they definitely like really paved the way for like a lot of stuff. And the thing is that Nintendo was like really created a lot of what we have today. It's like if it wasn't for, because you said the L and R was started there, and then if you move up to the Nintendo 64, if it was not for that Nintendo 64 controller, we may not have had analog sticks for a while longer because if you remember, the PlayStation 1 controller did not have. I remember holding it for the first time; it felt great, but it didn't have the analog stick. So when that DualShock 4 came out, when that DualShock controller came out, I remember being like, "Oh, that's like the Nintendo 64," because playing Mario 64 with that stick was awesome.
Yeah,
it's like they are the ones who created the whole running in a 3D environment, using that kind of control scheme.
Yeah.
So it's crazy to think about. It's crazy to think about how, like, if it wasn't for that, we may not have had analog sticks on the Xbox, or the DualShock controller would have existed. And the Rumble feature was also Nintendo, because the Rumble Pack. So you threw that baby on the back, and the shit was it was
that was like, it turned from being like a novelty thing to just being like a part of like we're so common now.
Exactly.
Like, the Rumble Pack back then. Now you look at this bad boy.
I was gonna say, now everything rumbles.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
That's the evolution of the Rumble Pack right there.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm sure there'll be some guy listening in the fucking depths like, oh well, actually, there's a system from 1993 that had like, we're not talking about that.
I think you're right. I think there might be something that existed, because we're being technical. If we're being technical, Sega Saturn had the first analog stick. They did have it first, but the reason I won't credit them too much, honestly, is because they didn't make it mainstream. It didn't become mainstream till Mario did it. You know what I mean? And once Mario did it, that's what made it mainstream.
Exactly. That's like Betamax and like CD or whatever, VHS. It's like Betamax, you might have the superior technology, but if there's nothing on it, it's not popular. It's not going to catch on. So
exactly,
you didn't. No one's going to remember your name.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's like.
According to the Guinness Book of World Records, the N64 featured the first Rumble controller for a console in April 1987, and then the DualShock controller was released in Japan on November 20th, 1997, and it was released out here in May of '98. So, Nintendo put in their guys to work back then.
Yeah, man.
Look at that. And
Innovation.
then one thing, but from that era, the one thing that I really wish would have stuck is what Sega did, because Sega was still doing awesome things back then, and that Dreamcast controller having the memory card in the controller with the screen, and then you can take that screen and play mini games on it and shit like that. I used to play the Chow game from Sonic Adventure with my boy in high school. And it's like, yo, that was awesome, man. When Tamagotchi was at its all-time high, like Sega came out through that shit in their video game system, you know, seeing the little Resident Evil, you know, for Code Veronica thing pop up right there. You had a map and stuff for certain games. Like they were the Wii U before the Wii U, you know, and it's like,
I was gonna say, there's no dedicated controller that has a screen in it, like an actual display screen, like that.
Exactly. Like the Wii U tried, but you know, which would have been great. They could have really started something. You know what I mean? It's too bad that the Wii U didn't take off the way the Wii did, because when the Wii came out, we all know, you know, again, Nintendo tried to pave the way again with controls with that. You know, because then Microsoft came out with the Kinect, PlayStation came out with the Move, and everybody copied them, and they sold too. They sold 10 million joints. So everybody thought that was the future, motion controls. Oh boy, were they wrong with that one. And the thing is, it's just devs, man. It's like nobody really had any good ideas with that. Like you really didn't come up with anything good, like any good ideas for a game that could utilize those things besides your basic stuff. So it sucks, but yeah, like
more stuff now, like VR, that in a weird way kind of work well for that sort of thing now. Anyway,
that's true. Yeah, VR is the one that's going to benefit. You're right. I never thought of it like that.
Yeah. VR is definitely making, like, I mean, that's the only way to move in the games. Yeah. Pretty much, like, especially with isn't Oculus like the two handles?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Well, they all have it now. Now the Vive had it first, I believe, and then I think Oculus came out with the controllers shortly after it released. But yeah,
when we just go full circle and come back to gloves, have power gloves.
That's literally what I'm waiting for.
Yeah, that's gloves, dog. Quit fucking around. Give them.
A few years ago, I saw, or I think it was a couple of years ago. There was some like company developing like haptic feedback gloves, like, or that tighten up, you know, and have joints that tighten, so when you grab something, the glove will, you know, it'll feel like you're really picking something up or whatever. So
dope. See, I just want sensors so you can see where my hands are, like perfectly 1-to-1, and make it super seamless and easy. But that's cool too.
Yeah, not for nothing, I gotta say the Move has controllerless inputs, so it detects your hands, and it's gotten better. Like you just pinch when you want to do stuff. It's not perfect, because sometimes you gotta really, like, you know, pronunciate, you know, like really like I meant enunciate, but you know what I mean, like you really gotta like do the gesture.
Said articulate those fingers.
Exactly, like you really have to, you know, grab. But you know, it's pretty, it feels like a Minority Report, you know. You gotta you can really like move shit and do things, wave in the air, but it does have, like, you know, sometimes it hicks up a little bit, but I gotta say it works pretty well when it works.
Progress,
but we're still not there yet. I think gloves will be perfect.
Yeah, little by little, we're getting there.
Yeah.
Fire though. So what did you say your least favorite controller was then?
My least favorite?
Yeah. Or you didn't say?
I had something in mind what was it that I didn't like?
What was that shit I hated?
I mean, I think that's harder because we just stood away from them shits. I think
I have one that I hated very clearly. It was very easy.
Which one is that?
Already. It's that PlayStation 1 controller with no goddamn analog sticks.
Oh yeah. Well, going back to it now, yeah.
Yeah, going back.
I remember even then though I didn't like it, because remember we already had it on the 64. Like I knew what that felt like.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
And I remember I think playing Tomb Raider with it, and just that's why the game was so damn hard, probably.
Yeah, like ones that I actually used, there wasn't really a whole lot that I disliked, but like you said, but going back, the original Xbox, I guess, is probably the worst one. I remember how big that monstrosity was, and then when that S controller was like, yo, like that blew me away, because we're still using a variation of that to this day as one of the best controllers ever. So
that was a good controller. I love the GameCube controller too, man.
Yeah, the GameCube controller was good.
It had a stick. It was like an evolution of the N64 controller.
Mm-hmm.
Like that mixed with like a newer, you know.
Yeah, just they removed the third leg.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's what it was. It was still the N64.
I remember playing NHL Hits on Xbox 360 with that controller and loving how that shit moved. And of course, for the N64 controller, one of my best gaming experiences, WrestleMania 2000 and No Mercy. Those games, just everything about the button, like the scheme was awesome, and you
Yeah.
just use the stick. You hit the stick to do your special,
Yep.
and to cheer the crowd on or whatever. It was pretty
Yeah.
awesome.
Nice. That's fire.
Yeah. But yeah, going back to the Wii U thing, man, it's like it's sad that because when that first came out, I was excited for it because back on the GameCube, you could connect your Game Boy Advance to the GameCube, and for things like Wind Waker, you could you had the map on the Game Boy Advance. You could call in Tingle. That's when Tingle first appeared. I don't know if you know that character.
Yeah.
And he would give you potions, and you could call on him through the Game Boy Advance. And I thought that shit was awesome. I used to love that. I was like, yo, and so when the Wii U came out, I was like, oh shit, like, we can go back to some of that same stuff, like the second screen stuff. See, that's what I wish would have taken off, because like I said, the way I always loved it in the Dreamcast, and having that little extra sound, and we get beeps and stuff like that. So having even though it sucked using a big ass controller, but if they would have had it in some sort of way where you could just play with a different controller and have that second screen for other stuff, would have been really awesome. And it's like, it's sad that they don't do more of that. Like, at least even with your phone, like Metal Gear Solid 5 try to implement that. You had stuff, you could see the map on your phone, and it interacted with the game, but they don't do enough, I feel like. And that's what makes it great about PlayStation, like really like focusing hard, doubling down on the controller evolution, because it's like, we didn't get, Xbox didn't bring that heat, where they expanded on the controller evolution with the Xbox One controller with vibrating triggers. They didn't do anything new for the Series X. So having those resistive triggers is like awesome right now. It's like, I'm glad that they actually did something different.
That's cool. So I am jealous of those. I want the resistant.
It feels good to play, especially game. Like it really does really feel good to play. I wish like Xbox would have also maybe added that speaker, because that's the other thing that the PlayStation 4 has that didn't fully take advantage of, is the extra speaker on your controller. So that was really cool that it, they I don't know, the Wii U did it first. I mean, the Wii did it first because that had a speaker on it, but that's what I'm saying. Like, Xbox now Phil Spencer is saying he likes it, and now there's a patent apparently. So that's great. I hope that Microsoft does kind of copy PlayStation with that, so that devs have a reason to implement it. Because if it's only PlayStation, it's only going to be first party. I mean, that's how the world works with gaming. So it's like, hopefully we get Xbox on board, that way we can get third party games that have those adaptive triggers, because that's the future, like stuff like that, especially if they add that in VR, like next iterations of VR. Hopefully when we get like we'll have stuff like that too. So but definitely. What's like what do you guys use, like what do you consider your best controller right now then? I mean, I guess there's not a whole lot. I mean, between Nintendo, I guess PlayStation and Xbox,
honestly, that Nintendo Pro controller is the shit.
Yeah, it's a comfortable control, I gotta say.
I haven't used one yet, but I've heard good, like nothing but good things about it.
This right here, boy.
Yeah,
it's so
cool. It's a lot like the S controller, baby.
It's definitely modeled like the Xbox a lot controller, and it's definitely, but it's super comfortable. I like the I don't know, it really is just a comfortable ass controller.
This is my baby.
Oh yeah, that's right. I have to try one of those. Yeah, it's just that I just never want to drop the money for it, but and I'm not I don't feel like I'm competitive. Maybe I just have to try it and it'll blow them. You're saying it'll change my world?
You know what? I should get that.
Nice, man.
Yeah.
Like even racing games, like even Forza, I race better now because the controller vibrates, but then each trigger vibrates as well, so you can feel when your tires are slipping, like when you're braking or hitting the gas.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it helps a lot. Like going around a corner, you're like, all right, tires slipping, let me ease on the brake a little bit, and then
those back buttons vibrate.
Yeah, the triggers. Yeah.
Oh shit.
They vibrate separately, so so they're not resistive, but you can still, you feel the pop and you'll feel the tires. You know what I mean? Like they definitely have their own feel to it as well. So they're nice. They're definitely nice. Yeah,
because on the Series controller, because I got the Series Series Xbox controller, which it looks like the one. Because I have the one right here, and you would think it looks similar, but the slightly raised bumpers
Yeah.
super nice.
Yeah.
It really helps out. I gotta say, like they definitely modeled it. You could tell they modeled it after the Pro, the one that you got
The Elite,
or
yeah. I think
whatever.
it's the same one, to be honest, besides like the flippers on the bottom, but I think everything else is identical,
Yeah, because
to be
it's
honest.
so
Yeah.
nice, and it's
Yeah.
just like and and then yeah, and with the new clicky thing too, like the D-pad's probably one of the better D-pads that's been released. So they really like perfected their control. I mean, I like it a lot. I think this is definitely rivaling the 360 controller for me. Like this is probably gonna be my go-to for PC gaming, and now the Xbox out. And I really do like the vibrating triggers. Like I was playing Forza because you had mentioned it was good, so I was like, let me throw some Forza because I have it on Game Pass on PC, and I was like, when I started turning, like you said, and it started, I was like, oh, that's cool. Why how come nobody talks about this shit?
Which controller is that again?
Just one of those things, man.
The Xbox Series controller. Like I mean, the Xbox One controller did it too, but this is just like pretty much a perfected Xbox One controller, and they already since 2013 they've had vibrating triggers. Like it vibrates individually, and so when you play something like Forza and you brake or whatever, it starts to go, it vibrates just right here. And it's like, PlayStation, evolved that even more, and it's like everyone's like, oh, Xbox is trying to copy Sony, and I'm like, but they've been trying to do something with the triggers. Yes, it's not resistive, I get that, but the fact that it did something different is like, that's more Sony copying them and evolving an idea they had already.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's why
I don't know.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, give them the credit.
Yeah, Sony fanboys are rabid, bro.
Yeah. And that controller, the one that you have, Dave, with the triggers on the back?
Yeah.
Right.
That's that's the Elite 2.
Xbox Elite 2 controller?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's wildly overpriced, but I needed a controller. Like all my Xbox 360 controllers are fucking fried. I didn't have an Xbox One. I didn't get the Xbox Series X, so I was like, I need something for my PC gaming that's not a DualShock, because I was using the DualShock and connecting it using DS4, and it works fine, but it doesn't hold a candle to this thing. This thing it feel real nice. It feel real nice. So,
but yeah, between that and the now the DualSense, I gotta say, like,
fire too.
The DualSense is probably the most comfortable controller I've used in a long time. Like I love using this controller. They're both very, because while this is a little bit wider, and I don't know, it feels like this is definitely great now for, I mean, I don't really use play FPS with controller anymore, but if I have to shoot in a game, like this definitely feels really good. But so does this though. Like I can't hate on any of them, because I guess where the Series controller, the Xbox controller, I guess, is a little bit narrower, having the different, having the analog sticks, I guess, off not on the same line, lets it be compact, and it feels nicer here. But now that they made this wider, having it on the same line doesn't feel crazy. Like it actually feels fine on this.
But I don't know, have you tried FPS with that, like
with this one, with the I'm saying we're on camera too, so with the DualSense, yes. I tried Call of Duty, because I bought Call of Duty. I pre-ordered on PC first, and then when I heard that they're going to be implementing the resistive triggers on PlayStation, I was like, shit. So I waited a while, and then right before it came out on PS5, I ended up just buying it again, and it's not bad. I'm probably not too good at multiplayer, but I played zombies because I figured I don't really need to have perfect aim there, and I gotta say, I was doing pretty damn good, and even on zombies. I mean, like, even with the controller and the resistor, like it clicks for so if you have an automatic, like it goes as fast as the gun shoots.
Oh, that's cool.
I gotta say that shit. I thought it was gonna be like disruptive, but it feels good. It feels good. Like I felt like I don't know if it's all in my head or what, but I felt like I aimed a little bit better because, I don't know, maybe because I had to hold it a little tighter because it does that. So it clicks back and forth like that. I was doing pretty good, so and it felt good. It felt great to play on this controller.
That's
like
awesome.
And sorry, like just I don't mean to go off on another tangent. It just reminded me, going back, I think the worst controller is the original DualShock, the original PS3 controller, that the 6-axis. It didn't have vibration. It was garbage. Like I love that it was wireless, but it was tiny. Like you go back to that controller now, it's tiny. Like I can't play on that little ass PS3 controller. Like that was probably like, even though I love the DualShock 2 and PS2 and all that, and it was fine for most games. It was just like, it's one of those, like, going back to it now,
Oh
it's
yeah.
tiny, and the original 6-axis didn't vibrate because there was a lawsuit. So when they finally made the DualShock 3 like a year later, and then it vibrated, but still, it was still like, going from Xbox to that, the
Yeah.
controller just felt so little. It was like, it was a pain in the ass.
I was gonna
Like,
say,
it
I'm
really,
looking at it now. It looks like shit.
yeah, such a little ass controller. Like, the
Yeah.
DualShock 4 controller really like brought them back in the controller game, because I liked how, like, it was bigger. And now, like I said, I feel like the DualSense is like a perfected version of that. But yeah, the DualShock 3 is probably, or the 6-axis control is probably like the one control I hate it. Like, I really disliked it. I didn't hate it. Like, I had to use it. I used it, but it was just
Right.
annoying.
Yeah.
So Sony's been all the way at the top and all the way at the bottom.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Tragic. Nice. It's pretty solid, man.
Oh, you know what? Sorry,
What?
I know I just said that, but the more I think about it, it's like, I think the Wii controller is probably the one I hate the most.
Which one was that?
The Wiimote, the long one, the white one, that for the motion or whatever.
You know what?
Like,
Yeah, you might be right. If only because you had to take it in and out or put it in and out of that stupid fucking case that everybody would have.
yeah.
And oh man, those.
And then you had to play games with it turned sideways, and then so it was weird. Like, you only had 2 buttons, no shoulder buttons. Like,
Which control do
had
you
the
have? I have 2. No, I think you have 4. No, I'm 2. No, give me that. Let me. No. Which light is on?
And then you had the stupid nunchuck shit. Like, that's probably, I played Skyward Sword, Zelda, and that like used it like to its full potential. It had the Motion Plus adapter so that it can, and that was cool. I'll give it its props on that.
Yeah.
But Skyward Sword, Nintendo had the bad habit in those days of forcing you to use the controller to its fullest potential, which killed a lot of games. That's why a lot of games weren't that great on the Nintendo. I love the Nintendo DS, but it was a pain in the ass for some basic games that had to use a stylus, and that was a pain in the ass. You had to use it. And then on the Wii, you had to use the Wiimote, and if it was a first-party title, you really had to, like, use a stupid control scheme. So I would say, yeah, that's probably my most hated control, like the Wiimote. Unless it was like games that were, simple, made just for that, but playing regular games, that shit sucked.
Yeah.
One of the Zeldas, right? You could only shoot the bow and arrow with that stupid thing.
Yeah, that
You
was
had
like the
to-
mini game. The mini game.
Okay.
You had the new Zapper, the new Nintendo or Zapper or whatever it was called, and
Yeah.
I didn't like it because you had to hold it like with 2 hands, and I mean the game was cool, but Link's, was it Bow Academy or some shit like that? I don't remember.
Yeah, I just know
But
I didn't
yeah.
like it either because I could see if you implement it in everything, you force it and it works perfectly. You know what I mean? But it's like this stuff has not been perfected. Still to this day, it's not perfected. So
Yeah, nah.
you can't force that shit on people.
Exactly, and that's why it got abandoned everywhere. Even though it's like the Kinect didn't need to get abandoned, like they just needed to implement more, like use the basic features of it. Like, why wasn't there, like, how come I can't play a game, right? Like I could, and this is off the dome. That was a camera. Why not have games with like facial recognition, where you scan your face and you can only get into certain rooms with your face scanned, or it used voices a lot. Like Mass Effect 3, I know used for Xbox 360 had let you do voice commands as well. But it's like, why not do more with that? Same thing with audio. If you really think about it, how come there's not more like, maybe where they talk to, if you have headphones on, let's say, this could be optional, like have it where some audio comes out from the screen and have them talking to you just in your headphones. Like, I feel like, how come we don't have shit like that? You know what I mean? Like multi-channel, sound output, shit like that, where, freaking Death Stranding does it on PC. You can have BB's noises come out of a different sound audio source. I thought that was fire.
Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah, I was like, oh shit. I was looking at the audio and it was like, yeah, you can set his. So I had my headphones on, so regular audio comes on my headphones, and I do have speakers connected to my PC, so you can have BB come out of the speakers. I'm like, that's pretty fire. Like, more games need to do shit like that.
That's cool.
Like, you have multiple audio sources. Have like maybe like if you're playing an arm, a military style game, have their voice come out, in your headphones or something like that. Voice recognition,
I think it's like an accessibility thing. They want to make sure like as many people as possible can buy it and play it and be happy.
That's what I'm saying. It all has to be optional. You're right. It has to be optional.
And then for the Connect, I think I remember hearing like, and I guess it makes sense in terms of like voice commands, and I mean now it's getting better, but like with AI and AI learning, like DLSS and things like that. But I think it was just really intensive to program it and to actually run it. Like I think facial recognition is more processor intensive than we give it credit for. Same with like vocal recognition. You know, we do with Alexa and things like that because shooting back to some super strong server that Amazon is running. But
Oh, that's
minus
true. Or
that,
Google, yeah.
yeah. So if Microsoft wanted to dedicate, you know, that type of server setting to it, I think it could succeed. But I think it would need that type of backing. You know what I mean? Like it would need like a lot of power behind it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's just unfortunate because I thought them having the Connect built like sold with every Xbox was a great idea, but they needed to
Yeah,
take the
same.
hit on that. They need to take the hit. Hey, it's for, you know, sell it for 400, and you get a Connect. That shit, they would have won with that instead of taking it out, because you know they should have just lowered the price of the Xbox instead of taking out the Connect and you know, just killing it. An iteration of the Connect now, you know, come on, the shittiest phones now have dope cameras. Imagine the Connect now with technology over the last 10, you know, 7-8 years now. You know, they could have come out with a dope Connect for the Series X, and games would have come out for it, because again, it came with every Xbox One. They should have just taken the hit on it instead of probably didn't even sell it in the end. You know what I mean? Like, what y'all do with all those Connects that nobody bought?
And talking about controllers, you know, that I guess that counts as a controller as well. And
it's true, yeah.
And you know, I feel like it was a missed opportunity, because imagine if it was like Minority Report. Like imagine if they just really concentrated on making that dashboard interaction seamless and magic. You know, like how cool would that have been if it really heard you and it turned on immediately? You know, you could really swipe the blades around, like it was really responsive. Like I think that would have been enough to make it like worth it. Like fuck yeah, I want it. That's so cool. You can really go through things. Like that'd be cool as shit.
That's what I'm saying. They should have just kept that. I really wish they would have taken the hit. They have the money. They wouldn't have gone bankrupt if they just gave away the Connect to everybody and said, you know what, we you know, for you guys, we were gonna sell it for 500. We're gonna sell it for 400, and you get the Connect for free. Just pack it in, just like they did with Sonic the Hedgehog. And the whole Sega story was that the guy, I forget his name, that was running Sega back in the 80s and late 80s and 90s said, let's pack in Sonic the Hedgehog with your best game with the console, and it'll sell. And that's how they competed with Nintendo. If they would have done that same shit, I'm telling you, everybody would have wanted an Xbox, because it would have been the same price, and you get the Connect with it. You know what I mean?
Because now they're relying on it. Now you put in their life for free, and now they're relying on it because, oh man, it's so much easier to navigate with the Connect, you know?
Exactly. Even if only a few games came out, even they should have just kept going with it. Because like I said, it made me sad that they took it. I was like, oh, that means that's it. Once they said they're not going to sell it anymore, I was like, that shit's dead. Then no games are going to come out for that shit.
Well, yeah, because no one's gonna devote for something people might have.
Exactly. That's it. So when they said it was going to be included, I was like, that's a great idea. That means that you know, they can do for whatever game they want, even if it's what's that called, experimental feature or something like that. They could have really like experimented with all of their games, but they didn't even have many first party games anyway, so it's just like
that's a little different now though. Yo, I'll lose my mind if we finish this podcast and we hear news or some shit like Microsoft thinking about bringing back the Connect system to their Series X.
I swear to God,
I'll lose my
fucking mind. I will fucking write a letter. Be like, you
Someone's
motherfuckers stop listening to us and taking our damn ideas.
Right?
Enough.
Worst controller that we've never used.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that goes to Connect for sure.
I'm gonna give you one. Jaguar 64. Shit.
Yeah, that shit. The full number pad. You telling me that's not the best controller ever?
That controller, I'm looking at it right now. That is a stupid fucking controller.
The Jaguar.
This shit has buttons that you still don't need.
Okay. I was gonna say they still haven't found a purpose for some of these.
Oh my God!
Look at this.
Yeah, this is
ZYXCBA and then a full number pad. That shit is like playing a fucking, like, I don't even know what that looks like. It looks like a toaster, bro.
Yeah.
Any game that had a door you needed to get through with a keypad though, you're set. You know what I mean?
Right.
Never,
I mean, again, it could be utilized. They did. You had to put overlay. If you noticed, it's indented, so there was like overlays you would put in onto where the buttons are, so it told you what to do with each button. There's so many buttons that you needed something to tell you what each one did, because you're not gonna remember. Like, was it 9 or 6? What the hell button do I press?
Yeah.
Imagine doing a fucking Hadouken with, like,
Please input Hadouken code.
Down to right 7.
Down to right 7.
865322 up down left.
But again, sci-fi games would have been dope. What was another stupid controller? I think it was the
Good thing we have these wonderful mouse and keyboards that have all the buttons we'll ever need.
Intel had a really stupid fucking controller.
What, the one with the joystick?
No, the Intel wireless series gamepad, that it's like a fucking, it looks like a neck pillow.
Oh yeah, I see that on there. Yeah. That
wow,
weird as fuck.
That is an ugly. What the hell is that? I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this.
Well, how about the PlayStation that boomerang shit, the Sony boomerang?
Oh, the PS3 controller, like before it launched.
They tried, yeah.
Oh yeah, that was a thing, right?
Crazy. Yeah, it was never got released, but it's funny because the DualSense kind of finally did it with the DualSense, because this has the extra long. This is the closest thing to what that would look like. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What's the infatuation with long controllers, bro? What's happening?
I don't know. Overcompensating. I don't know. Oh man,
that shit is an ugly controller too.
Yeah, it is.
It shit looks like it was taken off the set of Prometheus.
I was gonna say it belongs in like a Geiger painting or something.
Yes, wow, that's so funny. It looks exactly 100% Geiger-esque.
Yeah.
Alien and a half.
Nah, but I know the worst controller you did use was that third-party controller your boy had with the half-broken wire and 2 buttons that didn't work. To be player 2. Like, you got to use the Mad Catz, super, fight edition.
No, go into that box right there. Go into that box. You're gonna find a button. You go into a box filled with wires, and you pull out the Nyko, the dusty Nyko.
They got from Nobody Beats the Wiz for $9.99 in the clearance bin.
She got duct tape right on the port, and you put it in, and it lights up, and you're like, "Oh shit, we good." I hate that.
Like, nah, I only lost because you gave me the whack controller. I can't even do fucking Scorpion's fucking spear with that shit
the whole time.
So
you end up trying to fake make it fun having handicap matches.
Right.
Yo, this round you're not gonna be able to block. In the next game, you give me the controller, it'll be me that can't block.
Right? Yo, that shit.
Just because back on the controller doesn't work.
Yeah, that was the worst. Or you have to like bend the wire and like wrap it around the controller a couple of times.
Stay like that,
bro. I still do those on my headphones. Take it easy, okay? Like shit.
Oh man.
Nyko. Yeah.
But I would say just a honorable mention are some of these mobile phone controllers now coming out, like the Razer Kishi I got. Probably one of the best controllers for a phone I've ever fucked around with. It feels perfect. I play mad games like the cloud gaming on that, or just built-in games like playing Fortnite or a couple other games with the controller on the phone. It's become my new Switch. Like I can barely look at my Switch anymore.
What? So, take it back.
Nah, I mean, I still fuck with the Switch, but I'm just saying, like, being able to play all my PC games, almost perfectly with between Steam Link and xCloud and stuff like that. I gotta say, like, that Kishi controller is dope, because the fact that it's on the sides of the phone instead of it being on a latch, like on a controller. Okay. Making your controller dumb heavy, so you gotta play like, so I'm saying.
How much was it?
It's like $80 for the non-branded Android version. If you want the Xbox branded one, it's $100, but you can probably find it on sale here and there.
Yeah, it's a bit pricey. Okay.
Yeah, but it's the construction of it is really good, I gotta say. Like, and it has a pass-through charge port, so if your phone's dying while you want to play, you can just plug it in right into the controller and it charges it.
That's cool.
That's definitely like the way for me, because I throw that shit in my car, but I know I'm gonna go somewhere, or, like my parents' house, stuff like that. That's like being able to play gaming perfect on my phone without touching the screen, all that bullshit.
Using the screen is bogus. I don't think anybody can do that. That shit is impossible.
Yeah, unless it's a mobile game with the touching the screen in mind, then maybe it's not the worst. Because I've
I
played some
mean,
games where I'm like
yeah,
Call of Duty Mobile that
I was
doesn't
gonna say,
support.
yeah, that's the only
Yeah,
one that I was really actually pretty good with it, but that's the
yeah,
only one. Any other game I've tried,
exactly.
it's been like god awful. And XCloud, you
Yeah,
can use XCloud. It works well for you.
yeah, it's been working. They fixed. I'm telling you, the
Yeah.
latency has gotten a lot better on 5G. I'm talking about like I play. Like I said, I tried a mobile. I tried a um like Streets of Rage 2D game where you, like again and it was perfect punching. Well, fine, that's a 2D game. Maybe transmitting that is not so bad. But then I tried Deep Rock Galactic, which is a more 3D game where you have to mine and shoot monsters while while you mine
Yeah.
in like caves and stuff. You're like a bunch of dwarves, and that game is really fun, and it was perfect too. I didn't see any latency on 5G, not even on Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi has always been perfect, but I was waiting for my son out for he was getting out of his programming class, and I was just messing around with it, and I was like, yo, this is working perfect like on mobile. So far so good. Hopefully it continues that, because if it really can keep that latency low, then on a
Yeah.
first person shooter that on top of that I was playing, like it's pretty good.
Yeah. It's pretty awesome, especially because it's like your actual full games. It's not
Exactly.
it's not some bullshit version or some. I hate to say it, but like that's why the Switch doesn't get much burn. It just has what it has. Has its first
Exactly.
person titles, and that's about it. So
Yeah, it's really hard for me to pull out my Switch. Like I'll take that shit with me everywhere, and it's
yeah,
still really hard for me to take out my Switch and say, "Let me get on." It doesn't feel like I'm gonna go on there and have a ton of fun. Like
Yeah, it depends. It really depends on the game, and I honestly end up
Mm.
having more fun with it at home on the couch or something, or in bed than taking it out. But a lot of times I hang out at my parents' house, so if I'm there with the family, I'll try. But like I said, the Razer, having the Razer Kishi as kind of taken over that, because then I can play my real games.
I was gonna say, yeah, you just want to continue what you were playing at home or some
exactly.
shit.
Like if
Exactly.
I think it makes me think about if Sony had like a handheld, which they failed at. Not exactly failed, but
Twice.
they've they've made some bad moves with these PlayStation portables and the PS Vita. If they had like a Nintendo Switch version, like a something like close to that kind of setup for Sony, and I could take that shit out to work and be playing Overwatch at work, be playing games like Cyberpunk at work, handheld
Yeah.
like that. That shit would be amazing.
I haven't tried on the PS5 yet much, but I mean, you do have the option. You know what I mean? I think the official app doesn't support the Razer controller I was talking about, but there's like this third party PlayStation streaming app where you can stream your PS5 or PS4 directly to your phone, and that does support the Kishi, and
Okay.
so like that's not out of the question. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that might be something you want to consider. Leave your PS5 on, and fucking you could just stream that shit from at work. But from what the little experience I have done with streaming the PlayStation, it's pretty responsive. If I'm not mistaken, I haven't tried it with the PS5 in a minute, but it's supposed to be better on PS5 because they're using like new codecs or something. They expanded on it, so that might be an option. I have to try it again though, because I'm like, I did it when it at home. It was perfect at home, like over Wi-Fi, but on mobile is where I haven't tried it yet.
I got
But
you.
at home, like my son was being silly. I wanted to try you can stream your PS5 to your PS4, and
Okay.
my son did that before I got him his, and it worked. It worked. It looked pretty good. I mean, on the same network, but still, it worked pretty good. I was like, yo, I can play PS5 in any room of the house that has a PS4. That's pretty
That's
awesome.
pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not bad at all.
Yeah. But
Nice.
but yeah, I think we can start wrapping it up. Is there any other points you guys want to cover before we head out for the day?
I'm good.
I mean, keep the controllers exactly the same. It's working. It's working, man. I think we reached that point where it's finally been perfected. Like if I could just keep getting this over and over again, I'd be satisfied. Comes a point where you don't need too much going on with this anymore. Like
No, I need innovation. I need new shit.
I mean, except for maybe if this screen right here ended up being something like the Dreamcast screen we talked about, where that's
Yeah.
like a screen that's probably the next. I see that happening.
Yeah, I think it's time. They need to really like implement that shit already, because there's been mock-ups of it plenty of times. People do like the little mock-ups, and they show like the screen popping out, and it's you can see the game and the second screen in the controller. Like, come on, why, that should have happened already. You know what I mean? And I agree, like maybe the next iteration, like I think, not for nothing, and this is just, maybe a little fake prediction here, but like I could totally see, because we all know consoles are probably gonna on their way out. We may have one more generation of hardware left before we go full cloud gaming as it gets better. But controllers will probably be the future. Like that's what you're gonna be waiting for. Like, they're about to announce that new controller for whatever, because that's all we're gonna have. It's gonna be whatever dongle or built into the TV, like the way, like I said, Amazon Luna is built right into the Fire TV. You can play friggin' Assassin's Creed right in your TV with no extra hardware, just the controller and the TV. So them coming out with like new versions of that, I could totally see that happening. Like the controller will be the hotness.
I was gonna say maybe the controller will be the console. You know what I mean? We have those super thin, flexible screens now. What's not to say you just have a controller in your pocket and your screen rolled up in your other pocket. You unroll it,
True.
Comes out to like a 10x11. Plug it into your, your controller on, super thin, so it's just stands right there, and you're just playing the whole shit right in front of you.
Honestly, I think that's a good prediction on how things are gonna go, because I feel like that's gonna end up being the controller's gonna be end up being the whole selling point.
Exactly.
This just got super deep.
Especially after coming out of a generation of games where the PlayStation is as big as my fucking computer tower.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like if they come out and they say that this is the new PlayStation ellipsis, you know what I'm saying? It's like the next generation, and it comes in just like a smooth ass box like this big, and the controller has all this fire ass shit, and it has a screen on it. Like you put all that money you would put into a console into one controller. You know what I'm saying?
Yup.
Like it could end up being like the next big thing.
That's true.
Fire. Yo, if we hear this rumor now, after this cast comes out,
The good thing about this is that this is all timestamped, baby. We could say we have proof, all right?
Right? Like we said it here. You heard it here on VGXL first.
baby.
Yeah.
Sauce.
All right, so I think that wraps it up for tonight. So just want to thank everybody for tuning in and listening. Definitely, like I said earlier in the podcast, follow us on Twitter at VGXL Podcast. I'm gonna be posting more questions and thoughts and news. I already share a lot of news through my direct Twitter at Videogamesxlife. So definitely follow us there. We're gonna be doing a lot more, and check out the YouTube channel. It should just be Videogamesxlife on YouTube. That'll be posted in the comments of wherever you're listening to at, as well as Twitter. Any last words for the people?
Always wear your sunscreen. Sorry.
That's it.
Wait, what you said? You said keep on what?
Keep on keeping on, baby.
Oh yeah, we keeping. All right, that wraps it up. Thanks everybody. Later. Bye.
Bye. Later. Bye.
Yeah.
Came back.
Yes.
That's Jim Carrey's greatest role ever. People say it's the worst movie.
Bro,
I love that movie.
Such a good movie.
He got dark.